read the question or you?
I'll read the question.
Right.
So this was an advanced question from Councillor Carol Haythornthwaite. I would like to be clear about what procedures were not followed, resulting in a delay in sending the local plan to the inspectorate. As a member of the local plan group, I would have expected to be told about this. Residents have been advised that the local plan and their representations were being submitted to the inspectorate and will be back with recommendations by the end of this year. It is now clear that there will be a delay of up to a year, leaving residents' concerns to fester until 2025.
Thank you, Chair. Well, first of all, the report that you've got is an update of any key matters that relating to the emerging local plan. And the response to Councillor Haythornthwaite is the main procedural issue with the last consultation was that an updated sustainability appraisal, that is a document which assesses the sustainability of a proposed plan and which accompanies each stage during its preparation, was not published, and according to the rules of the council it should have been. We have as a council received legal advice and they have recommended that the consultation is undertaken again, ensuring that a sustainability appraisal is published for comment alongside the plan itself. If you have any other queries on this, I will speak to Stuart Sambrook and we will answer those queries. It is a mistake that's been made by us, human error. Unfortunately, it will delay the result from the expectorate, but I can only apologise that it's happened, and I can only say that we are putting it right as fast as we possibly can. Thank you, Chair.
Any questions from members? Councillor Aziz?
Thank you for that, Councillor. So in terms of clearly, there is certain remnants of this local plan around consultation, around the process we're going to have to revisit. If you don't know what is that going to cost us in terms of the additional cost? Any consultation comments that residents went out their way to make, how are we making sure we capture them? Because clearly, when the original consultation took place, a lot of residents made valid comments on that. How can we be rest assured that they are forgotten about, or suddenly, because again, it's imperative that this local plan is reflective of the aspiration and the desires of the local residents. So how can we take assurance for that? And thirdly, how can we make sure it doesn't happen again? Because clearly, it's something as basic as this. In a critical document like this should not have happened. So how, I accept human error, but how do we put controls in place to make sure it does not happen again?
I completely have to agree with you, Councillor Aziz, which is very unusual, but nevertheless, I think, again, I can only apologise on behalf of the department that it's happened. As regards the cost of it and the fact that you're saying possibly some of the people may not, they're what they've already passed on, it will not be, it will not be recorded and might be lost in the new consultation. I can promise you it won't. The consultation will be taken as if it's never been taken before. It will be started from scratch. How much it will cost at this stage, I don't know. What I will do is find out as soon as Simon is back from leave. I will find out from him, and I promise that I will let you know, or I will let the chair know of how much it is costing us. It's no good me giving you off the top of my head figure. That won't work. But again, I apologise. It's happened. We have to try our best now to put it right. I agree. It's not a good thing that's happened, and I do think that you're right in we need to explore why and how it's happened, and we need to come up with a plan that will make sure it never happens again, and I'm looking at those things now. Thank you.
Any other questions from members?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Whitehead.
Just following on what you just said, Councillor Howard, just in terms of the sustainability.
I'm sorry, Kimberly, I'm struggling to hear you.
Just in terms of the sustainability plan, I know you say one wasn't published, but was one ever created?
Apparently, yes. From what I know, yes.
And then also, just in terms of what impact this may have on some of the ongoing projects that we've got, like Huncourt Garden Village, how will that impact the current situation that we've got there, the application, given that it's designated employment?
I can't see that it'll make any difference. I'm sorry, but I can't think that it'll make any difference. But again, I will speak to Simon, and depending on what he says, I will let you know immediately. Okay?
That's fine, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? We'll do it then, obviously, because obviously Simon's not here and we want more information.
Absolutely.
I would say, obviously, for the next scrutiny meeting, we'll have this on the agenda again, so we can find out, obviously, the questions which we put forward today, and we can discuss it there as well, so we can get an update on what's going on with those questions. And again, if you have, obviously, any questions for that meeting, we submit them, obviously, through the proper channels, and we'll get them to yourself and Simon, so we can get responses to them for our next meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate that. And again, on behalf of the department, I apologise again for the delay in what's happened. Okay.
No worries. So on to agenda item 6, which is the leisure transformation update. I'd like to welcome Lindsay Sims, who's the Chief Executive of Highland Leisure, to present this report, and Councillor Rain Cox, who's the portfolio holder for Highland Leisure, who is also in attendance for this item. I do believe Lindsay does have a presentation for us all.
Good evening, good evening everybody. So for those of you that have not met me before, I'm Lindsay Sims, I'm Chief Executive of Highland Leisure. We have been working with the council for some time now, over 5 years on this project, and today's update is a follow-on really from an update that I provided earlier on in this calendar year, just to give you an idea of how each of the different elements of the leisure transformation is progressing. So a reminder really of the process we've gone throughout this. So starting back in January 2019, we started working with Sport England as our sort of national body expert for facility development, and they brought this strategic outcomes planning model to us in terms of how we go about that in terms of public investment into leisure facilities. So we've gone through each of these 4 stages in the model, and the final report for this was signed off by Cabinet back in December 2021, so quite some time ago now, nearly 2 years ago that was signed off, and since then we've been progressing with the project. So a reminder as well, and sorry, apologies, these are really very small in terms of text. The project in its entirety has 9 key aims. The majority of these all contribute towards improving health across the borough. There's also ambition as well to improve financial sustainability of the Leisure Trust. Obviously here in Hindburn, we've been very ambitious to have a leisure trust that operates without any public investment. It's quite unusual. Most of the leisure trusts across across the country, particularly those in this region, receive about £1 to £2 million a year for the management of facilities and the subsidy of operations. So we are ambitious and we continue on that ambition to make sure we are as sustainable as possible. We're also very, very interested in ensuring that the facilities that we operate are energy efficient and that contribute toward our carbon reduction ambitions as well. So in terms of developing the proposals across the Keystone facilities as well, the three major factors that have been considered, as you can see there on the slide, are cost, the existing facility conditions, and also the potential impact that we can have on people's lives, improving their health and well-being. Throughout that as well, we've looked at a range of different factors, external reports, evaluations, market trend data research to help us to kind of get to the stage that we're at now. This is just listed on the left there some of the different pieces of research that have been done, and on the right there as well you can see an extract from one of those reports. So we have looked into detail in terms of the people that use the facilities that we operate at present, who we are not reaching, who we're reaching more, and how then we can look to engage people that we're currently not working with. A big goal of ours is to move more people from inactivity into doing something, and how they're doing something into doing more, with an ambition obviously to get people up to the Chief Medical Officer's advice around 150 minutes per week of exercise. The project itself over recent times has moved into a 4-year period, and obviously we're now in phase 3. At the last scrutiny update report I shared how the phase 2 work was going and moving into phase 3. This evening I'll be sharing the phase 3 work that we're having. So on the slide here you can see the focus that we've had this financial year. So some of the key things that we were looking to achieve during the year were around the investment from Wilson's Playing Fields from Sport England, planning permission for that facility development, and we're also looking to commence the build within this year. That isn't yet set, but we're currently looking at and on track to do that. We've been ambitious to look at investment into Hyndburn Leisure Centre and other facilities around the Youth Investment Fund, and we're working with other funders such as the Sport Foundation and the Community Ownership Fund as well. So I'm going to take you through each of these different areas by facility just to give you an explanation of how things are progressing for each of those. So the first being Wilson's Playing Fields. This is the latest imagery of the artist's impression of the facility that's being proposed there. And as you can see, the top 4 areas there are bolded because each of those now has been completed. So all the pre-construction work, all the surveys, the architectural drawings, the cost certainty and design work has all been completed. Plan permission was approved locally and not called in by Secretary of State, and the investment from Sport England has actually increased from initially an application of 1.5 million up to 2.4. So it went from 1.5 to 2 and then to 2.4 million. And that funding is just awaiting to be agreement signed. We've also been invited to apply for a further £250,000 from the Football Foundation, and their key interest in this facility is the replacement of the pavilion. So those of you that have seen drawings and designs of this facility, it does have replacement changing facilities and referees rooms to replace the existing ones that are presently for the pavilion. The project, as Cabinet reported recently, is on budget, and if all goes ahead, then construction is due to commence in late January this year coming, and will then open following spring 2025. Some of the work going on operationally, so once we know that the facility is going ahead, we have started a little bit of work with England Athletics, and they have given us some of their capacity in terms of their facility development team and their club development team to work with the athletics club, and also to look at the future condition of the facility and future investment requirements for the athletics track. Throughout this project we've identified that the athletics track is a strategic facility for the borough, and by positioning the leisure facility next to it, it means that it's got an even longer life future and an importance to the borough as well. We have an accessibility forum. For those that have been close to this project, you will know that this facility, a big vision for this facility is that it offers a really great accessible offer. So it's for people of all ages and abilities. It's a single-storey facility with great disability access, but also looking to programme a real broad range of activities in the facility as well. Another opportunity that we're looking to explore as well is with the Football Foundation. In addition to the £250,000 capital for the facility, we're also looking at putting an application for further pitch maintenance funding as well. That would be through the Leisure Trust, not through the council, whereas the Football Foundation is through the council. And we are looking again, once we know we're definitely moving forward with the project, to look at programming and look at a series of outreach work, which we'll be looking at working with nurseries, care homes, a range of different activities, and also
Sounds like they're not too sure on whether it's going to be going ahead or not.
To support the economic sort of impact of the facility too. Moving on to Hyndburn Leisure Centre, that is the roof at Hyndburn Leisure Centre on the squash court, or the main sports hall. It's got over 600 solar panels on it now. So that was part of the first project that was delivered at Hyndburn Leisure Centre as part of the leisure transformation. So a big part of this project, although most of the attention has been on Wilson's and the Mercer replacement, the longevity of Hyndburn Leisure Centre has been key to this, because that's a key facility in the borough that we absolutely need to maintain. It has nearly 500,000 visits per year. It's really well used. And we didn't know until we went through the pre-construction phase of this whether it had a long-term future, and thankfully it does. It's going to be there for many, many years to come. And because of that and that knowledge, we were able to apply for the public sector decarbonisation funding, and we were awarded just under £2 million to do this work. So without knowing that it had a longevity, we wouldn't have been able to apply, so that's been really positive. The second project at the Leisure Centre was the replacement of the 3G pitch, and also LED lighting to improve the energy efficiency as well of the facility. Like the Wilson's project, all the pre-construction has been completed for Hyndburn Leisure Centre, so we now know all the works that are needed to do at the facility over the coming 3 to 5 years, and we're going to be phasing that work over a period. We, as I mentioned, we put the application into the Youth Investment Fund, and our expression of interest was successful, so we proceeded with our application, and we're in the meantime, as well, in the interim of that, we were awarded some pre-construction support of £134,000 from the Youth Investment Fund. We weren't successful with our capital application for 3.9 million, so that was unsuccessful, but our work around youth development still continues. We are pursuing this month, so later this month, we're going to deliver an additional transformation at Hyndburn Leisure Centre, and that will improve back office processes and customer experience. It will be introducing a new app for our customers, and much easier ways for them to book and to sort of pay for services online as well. We have also, through work with council, submitted an application to the Swimming Pool Support Fund, and that is for capital work to improve the energy efficiency of the facility. At present, Hyndburn Leisure Centre is EPC rating C. We have taken 72% of the carbon out of the building, but we are running a 40-odd-year-old building which does have energy efficiency needs to improve, and through that investment we're hopeful that we'll be able to improve that further. And then finally on Hyndburn Leisure Centre as well, we're also working with the Integrated Care Board to look at what community health services might be based out of Hyndburn Leisure Centre. So we're part of an audit process with the estates team at the ICB to look at how we can move forward there. We're hosting an event tomorrow actually with the primary care network, and we've got really good strong relationships with our health partners too. Moving on to Mercer Hall, so just there on the gym at Mercer Hall. We have carried out initial consultation, so we've gathered an awful lot of insight at the moment. We are going to be continuing to do further consultation to build on that shortly, and I'll come on to that in a moment. We had a task group that was set up to deliver that consultation, and I really kind of want to then start that up again later this year. And worked a community ownership fund application, which was unsuccessful. However, we have been highlighted by the fund as a priority applicant, and they're really keen to support us. So I've just found out, confirmed this week, that we have been awarded 8.5 days of consultant support free of charge from a culture and heritage specialist, and we've also been invited to apply for £10,000 revenue grant to help with any early design or legal fees that we may need around feasibility work, which makes the project a much more viable project and allows us to get really detailed information that we can then take forward for our application. We are putting a funding plan together at the moment, and the ambition is to submit in spring 2024 for that bid. There's also talk of working potentially with the National Heritage Fund, depending on what investment brings into the area and ahead of that. An application has also been submitted to the Architectural Heritage Fund for £10,000, and that's the feasibility work, which again will support business modelling and design work, just gives an idea of what the repurposing options and could be for that site. Further applications are being worked up, and one of those is on the Environment Fund as well. A further centre in Great Harwood, we've got the Bank Mill Centre, so again the consultation was that we carried out there was the whole of Great Harwood, so it was to link into Bank Mill and to Mercer, and there were some key works that some of the committee and other people that use the building that are interested in the facility have asked us to get, so we've obtained quotes for all the refurbishment work that's been requested, which then puts us in a good position to know what we need to apply for in the future as well. And we have had some issues at Bank Mill lately with the exterior in terms of the external layers not being kept very well. So we've invested in that, and we're looking at how we can get some revenue in to make sure we can continue to keep on top of that. So that's something that we're focused on too. Clayton Community Centre, of course early in the project we've already attracted and invested over £270,000 at that facility. We submitted an application to the investment fund for that facility too, and sadly we were unsuccessful there as well. But we have got quotes for external fencing, which is a priority for us in terms of cost development of that site. We know that there are some instances of antisocial behaviour there. Councillor Fisher knows more than anybody. I know that that's something that you're really passionate about too. So we're looking at other avenues now that we've just had that sort of unsuccessful news. People may be aware that we've got a heritage project there as well. So we're working with the local community. We've got sort of around 22 people so coming down to each session. We've invited the local community to bring artefacts, stories, memorabilia and Clayton laws, and that is going to be turned into a professional exhibition which will be exhibited in the main hall at Clayton Community Centre shortly as well. So it's a nice project funded by the National Natural Heritage Fund. If people are aware of Super Slowway, they are a culture, arts, heritage charity, and they want to look at Clayton Community Centre as being a hub for that good as well. So we're working with them, and they're going to start routing quite a lot of their sessions from Clayton Community Centre shortly as well. And we're also continuing to look at further youth revenue funding there, particularly working with Clayton Amateur Boxing Club, who are doing a great job at supporting people in the area. Moving on to Hindon Academy, another site that we operate evenings and weekends. We've worked with the Academy and Super Slowway to get some investment to redevelop the jetty there. So that's not outside the school, but obviously it's on the canal nearby. And the school are now looking at how they can integrate water-based activities into curriculum and then start to introduce that in community activities as well. The school themselves have obtained private investment to redevelop the gym as well, and we're working with them to reopen that gym shortly. So that'll be a new facility for residents that wish to be able to access a low-cost gym. And we are working with the school business manager there as well to see if we can get further investment to develop the gym even more and develop people. People may be aware as well that Hindon Academy have been working with Football Foundation and local club for quite some time to look at the possibility of replacing the 3G pitch at the site. If anybody that knows that facility, it's quite problematic. It's got a big pylon there and it doesn't look, it looks quite sad when you go and see it because the condition is very poor and it's been out of use for many, many years. It is looking really problematic, so a part of the plan for the school potentially with the new build or the refurbishment might be relocated to a different place. So it's not off the cards, but it's definitely not going to be anything that's going to happen imminently. So that's a roundup of the different parts of the Village Transformation Project, a reminder of the project aims as well, and that all information about the project is regularly updated on the Leisure Trust website. There is a link on the council's website to that as well, so you can get that anytime. And as always, if you need to get any information, just get in touch and I'll be happy to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you, Lindsay, for that extensive presentation. Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Councillor Whitehead?
Just one, thank you, Lindsay, for the presentation. Just with regard to the
specific on what type of tax what we need, and she gave support to community ownership funds, and they've awarded the 8.5 days. We don't need anything over and above that. That will be definitely sufficient. Thank you.
Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, thank you for that update, Lindsay. It was really useful, and obviously there's no doubt that the Leisure Trust are doing some fantastic things. We did speak at full council in some length about the Wilson's development last Thursday. Quite a few councillors are concerned about escalating costs, certainly since phase 1 of the development. And I think we all agree that nobody wants this massive project to fail, but there are obviously concerns about the financial risks, not only for the project, but for this council as well. And I think some of us are just wanting some reassurances that there's some contingency in place, because obviously prices in 2019 compared to 2023 and 24 and 25 when the development's expected to finish are totally different, not just obviously in this trade, just across everything. So it was just some reassurances really that you know, there are some contingency plans in place.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been explained to some elected members that the procurement route that the council has gone down is a design and build route. So with that, the majority of the risk lies with the contractors. So it's a fixed cost, effectively. So it's not going to be based on any other product changing. You know, the only changes would be if we just completely change the design of the building, or you know, what kind of things we wanted to have in it. So design and build fixed cost. There is contingency built in, and the contingency itself would likely be within the first 3 months of the project. We'd know if that was needed at all, because it's a brand new site and the surveys that have been done have been extensive. So that takes out a level of the risk, because we know what needed to be done and what's already been included. And within that, the contingency would be associated with ground conditions. So the build itself would be fixed price, so the bricks are the bricks and they're already locked in. There wouldn't be any inflation on that, because that's already taken on by the contractor when they sign that package. Any contingency would be seen in the early days, because it would be the ground conditions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Aziz.
Thank you again, comprehensive presentation, so thank you for that, Lindsay. From our perspective, Mercer Hall, crown jewel of the Great Town community, and that's why people are very passionate about that, you know, making sure it retains its leisure focus, because before it was a swimming pool, it was a dance hall, and it's always been. You look at the building, it's from the outside, it's a stunning building, so we wanted to make the focal point of that part of the town. So again, the Great Old Council is willing to work with you. That's why the task continues group around this committee was created, to look at how we can, as council, can input, create a document that is substantial, that, you know, work with the organisation like yourself to deliver that. And I think it is important. And so that's Mercer Hall. Bankhill House, it's a shame that the building next door wasn't.
We tried.
Yeah, I know, it was clearly a Lancashire Tory policy to sell it to the highest bidder, which is unfortunate. But yeah, if you could have do that, especially because it would have created a really nice site, and that would, but again, I think Bankhill House, one of the key aspects was around elder people's well-being and engagement, and I think again that has to be remain a focus, because health and well-being is important when people go a certain age. Finally, Clayton Lady Centre. Others would have, if it was up to them, would have turned it into a car park, but I'm glad former councillor Tim O'Kane really fought for that, and, you know, was a key catalyst of making the boxing club, you know, part of that. And I think what the work with yourselves, the boxing club do, is fantastic. Like one of their boxers the other week turned professional, and so, you know, it shows that that centre is a great catalyst for discipline and getting people off the street. And so I think the boxing club and through the work we can, it's just how we can continue to aid that, because if we don't aid it, there's going to be a point when it starts it will not be the forefront of the community. So that's my point. So again, I'm not going to cover those things because I think we covered it to death last week, and you know it was quite clear where certain people's viewpoints are. But I need to work with you, happy work with you on this, I hope.
Thank you. Any other questions?
That wasn't actually the
Yeah,
question.
we'll move on from that. Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you, Lorraine, for coming on to
That
talk
wasn't the
about
question,
that.
she would have answered
And
it.
look forward to seeing more about it. Yeah.
All these non-questions that Tom has left.
It's just a report, just a note into us, no more.
What's going on here? In a private chat. All these private chats we have. Private chatting. I know she's winning. I get done. You want that chair over there? Well, I'll have it then. Alright. No point being uncomfortable. No problem.
Next up, we're moving on to the levelling up project, and we've got a new screen here, so just bear with us while the presentation gets loaded.
Got the idea, but no idea.
I don't know yet. I have no idea, no idea, to be honest about it.
Junior, you might have teachers.
That last question. Question.
If it's expensive,
Crappy little statement. Anyway, crap statement. Anyway.
then
What happened with the they're supposed to be advertising paperless meetings for the environment. That's what all this is for. Can't work it. I don't know. Hello, Gimli. What a word. We can see you, Dad. We can see you. We can see you. What's going on? Look, it's so good.
It is now.
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised she's still away. Graham's new.
It is beautiful.
Graham's new from last thought. He could be our next MP. Hope not.
And thank you for your patience
He
on
could be our next MP.
that. So on to agenda item 7, levelling up funded projects.
Good crap choice.
This item is to respond to the request from the Special Scrutiny Committee for a general update on the Council's levelling up funding works. I'd like to welcome Councillor Mohammed Yunus, Steve Riley and Greta Stark to present this item. As you can see, I think you have a presentation to go through, so we'll get on your way for that as well.
Thank
Thank you, Chair. I'm not so sure who is doing the presentation. I think Greg Steve will have to do that. I'll just go through the report very, very briefly. The report is to update the general update for the committee, and the report is for noting. There is the report has for the committee members the update which is in the report, and I think I can feel there's a lot of interest regarding this item, and I think after the presentation, I'd like to obviously Steve is who is heading this project for us, leveling up, and he will provide the answers and the report, and also our leader Malin Howarth is here. She's got a lot of interest in the market hall. If anything regarding market hall, she will update everybody in this room and the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Chair, just to sort of say, Greta Sarks can't be with us tonight due to personal reasons, but I'm going to step in and do the same presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the update. It's a similar update that we've done for the members a couple of weeks ago, and also the wider stakeholder group in the town centre. It will go to the board at the end of the month as an update as well. So it's just how it's fallen for the various meetings. People are getting it at different times, but it's roughly the same update that's given to everybody. So if we could just go to the next slide. So again, it's easy to read on a laptop or sort of iPad document, but basically what we're just reminding everybody, it's a bit like what Lindsay has shown through for the Wilson's project, is that a construction project is broken down into various stages, and this is the Royal Institute of British Architects agreed stages for a construction project, ranging from 0, where you have the initial thoughts, to 7, where you're actually starting to use it. So I've just put this on because at the bid stage we needed to be at REBA stage 2, so that's having a design concept of the projects. So once we were awarded the funding, we moved actually to progress to REBA stage 3. So REBA stage 3 was enabling an operator procurement stage. So this is what we were doing probably for the last 5 months, which was progressing the designs to REBA stage 3, which has now been achieved with the planning applications. We were getting them ready to be submitted by the end of October, ready to be determined by the planning authority, which in this case is the council. We were identifying any enabling works. So what that is any works that can be done before planning permission or list of building consent is actually provided, and some of those enabling works are things like we can place orders for various materials or works to be done, or we could start stripping out some of the buildings, of just clearing them back to the brick walls, ready for construction can start. All that can be done without planning permissions in place. We said we would start operator procurement, so that was actually looking at the actual procurement documents and getting things ready for actually putting out in the market. So we had a couple of reports done that was presented to the cabinet, which looked at the various options in the market and how we might have an agreement with an operator, and how we would progress through that process to actually get those documents ready for tendering. And we continued with the land assembly, and including for Burton's Chambers and Market Chambers, and that also included assisting the current tenants to relocate in the town centre. And a key element of this has been agreeing a plan for the market traders to have an alternative home while the workplace takes place in Market Hall, so we're calling that the Market Traders Decant. So all of those were achieved in what we wanted to do within REBA Stage 3, ready for, surprisingly, REBA Stage 4. So REBA Stage 4, which I'll explain in a minute, but one of the key things that councillors and local residents were keen on to see is that these projects benefited the local residents and the local employers. So it's basically called the social value element. So this is really key, and it was a big part of what we were asking the contractors to sort of think about in their tender submissions, how they could put the social value back into Accrington and the wider borough. So this is about how can local businesses and sorts of people who want to work on the project get involved, but it's also about the community groups that want to get involved. How can they feel part of this team to deliver these projects? And the first social value event was done a couple of weeks ago. It was attended by the Accrington Town Square project team. Members from the project team actually met over 1,000 local students to discuss the project work. And what we had was specific people from the project team that were there, sort of explaining what they did. So there was architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, project managers, a whole group of professionals, and some from the contracting side, to talk about what it's like working on these types of projects, and for us as a career, for them to think about. It was well attended, as I say, there were thousands of local students there, and they were really interested in the types of employment that is on offer when they look to leave school. Particular interest was the architects. They had probably the biggest group of people talking to them about wanting to, how to be an architect, what does it involve, all that sort of thing. So again, really interesting and really worthwhile sort of event that. We've done lots of publicity releases relating to the project over Q3, largely based to the public consultations, the procurement of the contract, but also the call for action for social values and community engagement. So that's getting people ready for if they want to be involved, and how they can be involved in the project. So it's setting everything in place for that process to start. So one of the things that we have found is that we've now appointed a contractor to sort of deliver the works. What we're talking to them about is setting up a dedicated portal where people can log their interests, so whether that is somebody who wants to supply some services or materials, or wants to get involved, or just wants to be involved from a community side. So there's going to be a dedicated place where people can register their interests. We've got a communication schedule again planned for Q4, which is highlighting when we will be doing publicity releases on key milestones and goals. So the next one, the recent one has been the appointment of the contractor. The next ones that are going out are the start of the procurement process for the operators, and then a further one is when we've submitted everything for planning, which will hopefully be by the end of next week. All the planning applications and list of building consents will be with the council. So one of the big things as well that's just recently happened is the launch of the new Broadway banner, and that was well attended by the stakeholders that were involved in creating the banner, as well as some stakeholders that were involved in the levelling up projects around the town square. So there's a dedicated part of the website with all this information on. It's the one you can see bottom left, and the town centre project. It's got its own website there for various things that you can have a look at. Julia? So I thought it would just be sort of interesting for people to see who's helping us deliver these town centre projects. So from the left hand side, the project team. So these are your architects, your engineers, your planning consultants, the civil engineers, the specialists in the heating and ventilation, so things like that. So the project team, who are actually the consultants helping us design the projects. The operator procurement, we've got some consultants who are experts in the field of identifying and procuring operators for the market hall. That's Barker Proudlove in the red, and CBRE are very experienced in identifying operators for the workspaces in Burton's Chambers. Other consultants that we're using, we've got Ryder Levitt Bucknall, who is our project director. So Greta Starks is helping me direct in making sure that this project gets delivered, and she's acting as a client representative. So she's first and foremost has got the council's interest first, rather than the contractor or the other. So she's looking after our interests as a council. CBRE, that's another part of CBRE. They're involved with Womble Bond Dickinson on the property acquisitions, so they're experts in those fields. And we've also got CBR again, which is another arm of that company, helping us with with property management. So that's as we acquire the buildings, they're helping us manage those buildings on behalf of the council until they turn into construction sites. So they're dealing with the existing tenants and making sure that the site is safe until we turn it into a construction site. And the delivery partner is Morgan Sindall. So they were appointed, we commenced on the 23rd last month. So they're being brought up to speed on all of this, and will hopefully start some of the works, the enabling works before Christmas. The operator, as you can see on the far right, is underway. That's the procurement, so we haven't identified who they are at the moment. I thought that gives you an idea of who we're actually using to assist us in delivering these projects. These are all very experienced consultants or individuals themselves who've worked on these types of projects, town centre, listed buildings, know what we want to achieve, and some of them have been with us since the actual bid was submitted, so have been with us quite a long period of time now through this journey. So that's where we were with READ Stage 3. We're now moving on to READ Stage 4. This is then producing detailed designs. So this is the architectural and engineering designs that allows a contractor to carry out the works and to price the actual works that is needed. What we're actually saying is that this design process will go into the early part of next year, when we hope to have the operators on board. We hope to have those on board by the middle of January. They will then feed into that process from their perspective of how they would like the finished designs to look and feel, so that they've got a vested interest in actually making them a success, because it's part of their design. It's not something they've been given that has been designed by somebody else and they just walk in and sort of have a different opinion of how they would have done it anyway. So that design process will continue over the coming months. The planning applications, as I said, will be all in, and the list of building consents will be in by the end of next week, and then it's the normal planning process that's following. Enabling works, as I said, we've identified quite a number of the works that can progress without the planning permission granted. They will start that over the coming month to get a head start. This just gives us a bit of a benefit in trying to pull back some of the lost time in the announcement. The announcement for the funding was delayed by almost 6 months, so the funders are still looking at our same project plan but we've got almost 6 months left from where we should have been. We're sort of almost 6 months behind, but we are catching up very fast, and this is another way of catching up by doing some of those works now and not waiting till we've got the planning permission. The procurement operator, the one for the market hall is out there. The one for Burton's, so that's the operator for the market hall, and the operator for the Burton's chambers is actually going live tomorrow. So they'll both be out. They are requesting that submissions are due back in the first week in January, and as part of those submissions they will be producing plans of how they see and how they propose to operate those two facilities. There'll be a period where we review that and hoping to appoint a selected preferred operator mid-January. The land assembly in Decant, we will continue to sort of work with the traders on their decant into the temporary cabins on the town square, and we'll continue to work on the land assembly, including assisting again current tenants to relocate around the town centre. So that is relating to Burton's chambers and market chambers. So there's a very basic outline plan of when of the sort of the positions of the decant cabins on the market square. There's two distinct areas. There's a sort of a number of cabins in front of the town hall and a number of cabins in front of the market hall with a walkway in between. We've had to maintain access to the service yard. That's what you can see of those lines going into the service yard in front of the ones in front of the market hall. The traders were due to go on a visit to see their cabins being manufactured on the 8th. Unfortunately, Rapid Retail couldn't get an agreement with the manufacturing facility, so that is now next Wednesday when they are due to go over and see those in construction. The cabin plans have been agreed as far as I can sit here today, because yesterday they were different, and today two traders have decided to want something different, which we've accommodated today. So it is slightly still moving, but we are able to, where possible, agree and accommodate the traders' requirement. So that the last ones that was today is that they were offered cabins at the beginning. They said they didn't want cabins, they just wanted an open stall. That changed this week. They now don't want an open stall, they want a cabin. So we've been able to accommodate that in the manufacturing process, that they both get cabins as they requested. So planning application for the decant markets is submitted, and again that will be we'll be hoping all the planning permissions and listed building consents are going to December planning committee meeting in December. June. So that's the sort of presentation to that, and I know there's been quite a few questions raised. So just to confirm that many of the questions and responses were provided at the special scrutiny committee meeting back in March. There were similar questions being asked again, so we provided a response back in March. The response is not really any different for that. Just to confirm, regular reports have been presented to Cabinet explaining how the Council has engaged experts to produce some reports on how we progressed the operator. They were presented to Cabinet and approved. And the new offering and supporting in procuring those operators. Council's website includes a dedicated area for the town square development and includes a number of frequently asked questions that keep coming again, so we've placed them on there to help anybody that needs to look at those. So that said, there's been quite a number of similar questions around the market hall, so what I thought would be probably more beneficial beneficial is just to do a basic response, which hopefully pulls out most of those questions, because there's just too many to answer in the time that I received them. So just to remind the committee that a dedicated decant project manager has been appointed and is available to market traders to answer queries. They've set up a number of different methods to work with traders because they find different methods helpful to them. So they have an office, the decant project manager has an office in the market which they work out of at least 3 times a week, and I believe at the moment it's every day this week and every day next week. So they're available face-to-face catch-ups with all the traders. They all know where they are. They're on the balcony. They've held group meetings with traders. They've also had a number of individual one-to-one sessions with each trader that they can confirm, and I can confirm that as well. And that's where traders communicated their initial requirements for the cabin decant, and that's where we agreed what a cabin could incorporate and what it couldn't. They're also there to discuss any queries or comments they have on the design, and we're now processing a sign-off sheet where the trader is happy with the design of their cabin and they will sign it off. So that is for ourselves as a council, that's a trader that is happy with what the council is going to provide as a decant accommodation unit on the town square. There is a frequent asked question sheet for the traders that was provided specifically for them based on their questions that they've asked. That is similar to the one that we presented to this committee in March. There's a dedicated email address for the traders if they want to send an email request or an inquiry. So we've tried to accommodate a range of different options for a trader to contact the council if they've got any concerns, and hopefully that one of those is helpful for each trader. Just to sort of, again, to continue, for those traders who are wishing to continue trading during the market hall redevelopment, the council has and is still supporting them by providing the bespoke accommodation on the town square, or accommodation in units along Broadway and the wider town centre. We're helping a couple of traders to move into market traders, Broadway, as I've said, into the Arndale, into the Victorian Arcade. So there's a whole variety, and if they don't feel a decant cabin fulfills their wishes and their needs, we're helping them to go to where they prefer. Some of those are longer term. They've made a decision that they would prefer to go somewhere different, so we're helping them again to make that move. As I say, there was a plan report attached to the report which shows the cabin layout, and again that's indicative. Things are changing week by week. Storage accommodation is also being provided for the traders who request this. If you've asked for it, we're going to provide it, and it's going to be located in the service yard. But again, 2 traders that moved to cabins today have now told us that they don't need the storage because they can store all their goods and services and everything in their cabin. So again, this is a moving discussion that we're constantly having with traders when they sort of review their position and maybe change their mind, and we are able to accommodate their wishes at this point. There will become a point where we won't, because the cabin will have been manufactured and there will be no more changes and we can't change anything else, but we are still trying to accommodate all their requests wherever possible. And as I said, the council has supported some traders who've made their own arrangements to relocate in alternative premises in the town centre, and we're helping them with moving and any initial costs that they've asked for to help them move into that, because that is, again, from a best value and a sort of looking after public money, that is actually far cheaper than having a cabin for them to decant and for them to move into a different location anyway. So again, I see that as a win-win. We're helping them. They want to move into this permanent position. We're just helping them move into that position. With the assistance of the expert consultant Barker Proudlove, a procurement for the market operators commenced, and as I said, the tender submission will be due back in the first week in January. This submission will include a lot of details about how they intend to operate the market, and it'll also include their business plan, because that's what we all want to see. There is no benefit in seeing the business plan that was submitted for the bid, because that was so high level. What we want is actually to see the business plan of the operator who's going to operate the market, and that will be they've been asked for that, and that will be really interesting to see that in their submission. And also it's how that progresses over the full term of the lease agreement. So they may have plans for year one, but we also want to say, well, okay, what's in year 2, 3, 4, and 5? We want to see the full length of the lease agreement. So back in March, and I just want to sort of highlight this because this keeps coming up in questions. Officers made market traders aware of the possibility that a new operator may require traders to submit information about their business. It's commonly called a business plan. This is something the council has been doing for years, so anybody coming into the market hall, they've been having to provide information about their business to the council. And until the operator has been selected, I cannot know the specific details, or even if that's something they want. All we were doing is simply highlighting it to traders that there's a possibility and that we would support them where possible, because it's their own business. We don't know their business costs, we don't know their business, how it operates, but we will assist them where possible if there's a requirement to produce one. Once an operator is in place, they will agree the rents based on the experience of rent levels that are typical in similar markets within that. So we all got to acknowledge this is Accrington, in East Lancashire, it's not Manchester, it's not London. So they will be aware that they will have to set those rents that are sensible and actually attract traders into, rather than sort of putting up a brick wall that is too dear for me, we can't afford that. But the work on the decarbonising and energy efficiencies should support in keeping utilities costs down, so that's going to help. So all the money a lot of the money we're spending on this is to decarbonise the building, putting solar panels on the roof and putting really energy efficient fixtures and fittings inside. So the cost of running that building will hopefully come down, and then doesn't have to be passed on to the market traders because it's reduced. They will also, as I've said before, have an input into how the market will look and feel. The stall designs, again, this is not the council saying this is how it should look. We will be working with the operator to sort of say, how do you see it looking, how do you see it feeling, what the stall's designed, what is the play leisure offering, how much do you want, how little do you want, where do you want it, and all that. So again, whilst there are concepts that have had to be submitted for planning permission, they're just concepts, they're not the final version. Planning permission you don't need planning permission to say I need this colour or that colour, or I need to have this here or that there. There is still some movement that will be allowed with the operator to come to a final design that then will get constructed. It's also we'll be looking to them to sort of propose how they're going to do regular or special market events within the market hall or the pavilions opposite the old Wilco site, and maybe also what they're going to use the parking area on Peel Street. They could do sort of some events or some stalls along there on different days when the parking may not be needed. So there's all of this will come out in the submission, and we will then assess the submissions against all this. Just to reiterate, the council wants to support small businesses in London, and that includes new and existing market traders. This is a new vision for the market hall, and ultimately, to ensure the market hall is a success, the operator is going to have to attract as many traders as it can. So it will continue the operator and the council will continue to be committed to supporting local independent traders which support this new vision. That's a given. We can't have a redeveloped market hall with no traders or no food offerings, drink offerings inside. So we do need everybody, but it needs to be the traders and the offerings that support the vision for the market hall. That was the market hall, because I think the vast majority of the questions were around that position. I think my report actually updates where we are on Burton's Chambers and Market Chambers in regards to acquisitions and things like that. So probably that's as much as
Let's get to the
question.
question.
We'll just see if there's any further questions or clarity.
Brilliant, thank you for that. So I think you've obviously covered quite a lot of the questions which was submitted. Anyway, usually what we will do is obviously ask the members first, but as we've had quite a lot of public questions, we'll put them forward first, obviously. Like I already mentioned, a lot of these have probably already been answered, obviously, during obviously your presentation. So we'll go through obviously one by one instead of giving you a massive list of all of them, so it's easier. Obviously, then it means obviously everything's out in the open and then it can be seen. So I'll just move you through these questions. How many businesses are in the market hall currently? How many are scheduled to come back to the market hall after refurbishment takes place?
So I think the last count there was 30-ish stalls that were still in the market hall.
30-ish.
Can't say how many will come back. One, I don't know how many want to come back, because there are some that are definitely moving into permanent locations, other permanent locations in the town centre.
How many spaces are there going to be?
The process with the operator of who. That process, I don't know what that process
There's
is.
going to be 50 spaces. There's going to be 30 spaces. There's going to be 15 spaces. I don't know.
Are greatly received back in because the operator wants them all, and there is still space for new ones to come in. I don't know, but as I've said, they will be looking to fill the market hall with traders.
Yeah, obviously.
An empty market.
But how many are going to be new? How many are new traders?
Is it true that businesses will have to submit a business proposal before they are permitted to return to the market hall?
Well, it's just answered that.
So as I've explained, we were just making
Yes, it will.
traders aware that the council already operates that, and this may be something that the operator requires. It may not. So we've got an operator.
Hundreds of vape shops in there.
Some businesses currently have storage facilities in the market hall basement. Will they store their belongings whilst using the cabins?
So again, that's when the storage facility being provided.
It's massive. The sellers.
Please
Sellers are
would
massive.
you confirm the size of the plans of the play area and who made this decision? Recent proposals have shown that it's quite large.
So it's a sort of a concept, visual interpretation of what something could look like in there from the planning, to make sure that when planning take their decision, that they have an idea of where it is in the market hall.
Basically just tying the
size.
sky.
That doesn't mean to say it's going to be that size. At the end of the operation they say
Nothing
you
is
don't
obviously
need its size
set in stone.
and it looks and feels completely different. So it was from the experts report from Mark Proudlove that was recommending we think of how could Accrington stand
It'll
out
be
from
smaller.
different
It'll be smaller than Hyman
around
Sports Centre.
East Lancashire.
Salt
And one thing
area.
that they found was
So don't worry about that.
was missing from the other offerings was play, and that actually parents travel to areas for play like what we're proposing or what they're saying should be considered in there. So it was just another option to improve the offering of coming to Accrington Market Hall, so that you could have some food, you could have some drink, you could do your shopping, and you could also have somewhere for your small children to play.
Today, what communications have taken place between traders, council and project management?
I mean, I've just explained, they're down there 3 days a week. This week they're every day, next week they're every day. So
Yeah, but
it's they are
The record.
extremely
Haven't even taken it
available
on.
and approachable for the traders.
I haven't even taken it on.
It's one of the officers on the balcony. They do their work from there rather than
I mean, all the other balconies are
their
shut.
sort of office where they're based in Manchester.
Police information results of the public consultation which was held a few weeks back be released.
That was for a planning consultation. That was for the planning process. I'd have to check whether that's where that is, because it might actually already be as part of the planning process that all those comments are visible.
Please could you provide the planning details of how many stalls will be featured on the market hall and what ratio of food stalls there will be?
Another interesting question.
So I think we've always said in our briefings to cabinet and the traders that where the middle doors are to the service yard onto Pool Street, coming towards the town square is the area that we've identified where there's currently food and drink offering. That will be the position for the new food and drink offering. The other side going towards the old Wilco store is the side that will be traditional market stalls and the play area. There'll also be the existing market stores under the pavilion outside Wilco's.
Please could you provide an update to what's happening to the outside market, in particular towards Peel Street?
So there's no, so the Peel Street pavilions, so planning permission was granted probably over 2 years ago now to demolish those and provide additional car parking facilities for the market hall.
What will be happening to the car boot market which takes place?
We will look to accommodate as many as we can on the town square, and the sort of the question I've raised this week is it possible for those people to bring their own tables and gazebos like most car booths, and maybe we could have a look at relocating them onto Broadway.
Will rent be increased upon business returning to the market?
So again, the operator will be setting the rents and they will be taking into account its Accrington and what traders can easily be expected to pay. Again, we're not in the centre of Manchester.
So that was actually a round up of all the public questions that I've received through email or through what Julie and other council has received. Obviously a lot of them were duplicates. So from that then, what we'll do, we'll move obviously to the council members, and if we still have time at the end, we may open up to the public questioning if possible. So are there any questions from the committee?
Thank you, Steve. Just one question really. In front of the market hall, where you're putting the new cabins, the new stalls, how many of them will there be in front of the market hall from January? How many stalls, roughly?
I need to roughly.
So the reason why I ask is, how long are they staying there? Are they just staying there for the period while you do the market hall?
Yeah.
And then after the market hall, they get
So
basically get rid of them.
So, but basically the construction timetable is that the redevelopment is finished 31st of March 2025. Those decant cabins will then be removed.
And these decant cabins, how much are the costing us per stall?
Just
Because again, after 12 or 15 months,
away.
there's 12 there, I don't know, £1 each.
Nah, and the rest.
How do we, is it DIY where you assemble them yourself, or is it not yourself but somebody from the market,
Not gonna laugh.
or do you just dump them after 12, 18 months?
So
They're gonna be taking
one
one
is
fee, £5 a
one,
piece.
maybe two is purchased, and they will be then rolled into the back of Peel Street. Sorry, not Peel Street, in the back of the pavilion opposite Wilco's. So we took the opportunity to sort of pay for those, and they will be their new facilities around there, instead of that saves having to build a new brick built structure. The others are hired, but they are all bespoke constructed out of steel. They're not they're going to be really substantial because they have to be for being there for nearly 18 months.
So not cheap
No,
then.
that's fine.
They are
Really?
waterproof. They are, you know, very secure.
How expensive are they?
With shutters and steel doors and steel sides and steel roofs. So you
Sounds
know,
expensive.
we have thought of how to protect the traders' assets inside as well.
Sounds prodigiously
So
expensive.
these are they are standard type of cabins that you will see on construction sites, and some of them you'll see outside sporting facilities as like a shop. They just pop them there because it's so secure. You don't need to build a brick structure.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because whatever the stores that we don't need, we can use them when we hold events, like car boot sales, come and hire a store.
So these
I'll
aren't
take
that type. These are cabins. So
These
they
are cabins.
These are cabins with roofs, sides, doors, shutters, everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else from the committee at the minute?
Can't keep my waiters waiting.
I've a lot of questions, to be honest. A lot I've sent through already. I think I've made my points on this project very clear over the past 12 months. I'm really struggling, as I said, to support this project without any vision, viability studies, plan of what's happening in the market. It's really difficult to sell this as a councillor to business owners, residents, and you can see from everyone that's here today, they probably feel exactly the same way that a lot of us do, if I'm honest. So some of the questions that I've not raised in previous meetings or in email to yourself, Councillor Eunice and Steve, is can you tell me if any of the contracts have been drawn up yet and what clauses are put in them? Is any of that?
Contracts with
doing that? Any contracts with any of the enabling works, for instance, things like that?
Contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What do the clauses look like?
So that's a scape framework. So that's how we've procured them. That was our procurement strategy, to use scape framework, which is a government approved way of appointing contractors, and we've gone for NHS, BS for consultants, and again that is a fairly standard government approved framework where we can appoint consultants from. So that deals with the tendering side. So they've already sort of
And the
tendered.
contract clauses in that as well, clauses in any contracts.
Yeah, they're all the scape framework clauses, the standard frameworks that is used on scape frameworks. For all contract, I mean this isn't something that is just for Handburn. This is something that is national and sort of are used to deliver projects up and down the country. So I can reassure you that they are contracts and they are sort of clauses and whatever that is fit for purpose for delivering projects on this scale and on projects that far exceed this scale into the hundreds of millions.
So anyway, just back to the business plan. You raised about the market traders for years having to have business plans. Declaration myself, I was obviously a shop owner in the market hall. I was never asked for a business plan, nor was anybody. That only came in after COVID. So if it was something before, then it lapsed for quite a period of time. So obviously that isn't my experience. Can you tell me what consultation's been held with any of the shop owners on Broadway with regards to any of the cabins going in front of their shops?
Broadway.
Yeah.
There's no cabins going into Broadway.
Okay.
The cabins are as per the plan on the town square in front of Market Hall and Town Hall.
Okay, thank you. And also, with regards to a room, I won't name names in this committee. But I was approached today and asked. I go in the market most days for people that I know. My dad's been on market for 30 years. a lot of these people are my friends, and I'm deeply upset, as you can tell by what's going on, actually. And I was told today that, and I'd like you to correct this in this room, just so that it's for the audience more than anything, that I was told that one of the councillors has applied for the licence in the middle of the market hall. Can you tell me if that's true? It's just a rumour, seems rumour that's going on, so just wanted to get a bit of clarity
Just
on that.
clarification on that as well. Any licensing applications that also do come, councillors do get an email of licensing. So if anyone was to have any sort of business in Highbury, we would all receive an email saying Joe Bloggs has applied to be a licence holder for Joe Bloggs' pub. Do you have any objections or any visions of issues with this person? So obviously, if that obviously was the case, we would have had an email. Our person not had an email regarding anything as such.
No.
And if it obviously was to come, then it would be down to obviously members then to raise that as an issue if that is the case.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, just sort of say, it's the operator that will decide who's in market hall. That's who it is.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then just in terms of discussions again that I've had with market traders and local businesses in the area as well, what discussions are we having with local businesses that are actually impacted by what's going on? So previously I've mentioned Chalking Lights, for instance, White Orchid. What discussions were ever had with them? Whilst I mentioned this at March meeting, that I appreciate that they didn't come under the council's remit in terms of ownership of the building and contract, but I still felt like as a council we had a duty and an obligation, I think, to kind of support some of these people and at least keep them up to date with communications about the projects and what was happening. And I sense from conversations that I'm having that isn't currently happening and hasn't still happened with some of these individuals. And then also just in terms of the market changes, we've all seen the social media, I think, over not just this weekend but ongoing for quite some time, about some of the long-term, long-standing market traders that have kept the market going through COVID, through everything else. And the way that I've got to say they've been treated has been absolutely disgusting, and they deserve better from this council. You say that the decanting team are on hand at all times. That isn't the experience I'm getting. Some of the traders say that they've been unable to get over them for about a month. So in terms of the email I sent you 5 days ago saying can we urgently go and visit some of these traders and actually get a grassroots on the ground conversation, honest conversation with these people, I think they deserve it, they respect it. And as part of my recommendation, I would say that we'll have them portfolio that we've never seen in the market goes and visits these individuals and have some honest, difficult conversations with them.
Yes, thank you for raising that. Do you want to do the matter? Yes, go ahead.
Well, it says that I go all
I've
the
always,
time.
Marlene's always come back to me, quite,
Sorry?
Councillor Howard's always come back to me whenever I've needed any
Yeah,
questions answered.
and I can honestly say, I am about it, in fact, probably the most passionate person in this room regarding the market hall. And I can assure you that I've dealt with market traders, I've spoken to the market traders, but I can tell you over the last 6 months, since our officer took over and the decant and all the thing started, I can tell you that all the questions that you're raising now, that the traders allegedly have raised with you, and I do believe that they probably have, I can tell you with hand on heart that not one of those traders in the marketplace has ever rung me to speak to me about the problem that they have. I'm only a phone call away, and not once has any of them rung me. I can't.
I wouldn't blame the market traders. I think it's our responsibility to communicate efficiently with them, if I'm honest. Just one other recommendation I wanted to make as well, if that's okay, Chair, is whilst the market hall is closed during this period, is there an opportunity for us to reopen Peel Street toilets whilst the toilets are closed?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to go back onto your point about the you mentioned about levelling up and the portfolio holder. I mean, myself, obviously Marlene deals with the market hall, and that's under Marlene's portfolio. But what I would suggest is myself and Officer Steve Riley, we continuously discuss the concerns about market traders, whatever concerns has been raised. As Marlene rightly said, that nobody has contacted me apart from yourself, and which we discussed that between us, and so passing the email to Marlene. But there's two dedicated officers there. I'm surprised if they have any concerns. Why did they not approach them, and they can directly approach to us? Why would they just approach to you? And this is a mystery to me. But I mean, they can do that. We're not saying that. But what I would say is they can approach the officers there who are on for that purpose, and they can answer their questions, or they can pass their concerns. The traders' concerns are very close to our heart. They can pass it on to us, and we can deal with it immediately. And as you heard in the report, every precaution has been taken to look after traders. I mean, the market hall is there because of our traders, and the traders are the main asset for the market hall. And we want to make sure that they trade freely and comfortably, and any issues they have will gladly be there to solve them. Thank you.
Just again to point out, the traders have said that they've tried to get in touch with the accounting manager on several occasions. The two gentlemen haven't been able to, and also spoken to the market manager. I mean, I'm lost with where we are now. It's a sad state of affairs, and when we talk about traders, we're not really any left. We're all going, we're all retiring. You know, we've got Greg at the Cup Meat Stall.
Obviously,
Sorry.
they're not here to obviously represent
No, they're
themselves.
not.
It's hard to
But
use their names, obviously.
Yeah, sorry. But as a council, as my right to scrutinise these goods, I will say that, you know, these individuals are being asked to pay. They're being moved out of small square footage shops, market stalls, and put into shops with greater energy costs, bigger costs to them. Not only that, the footfall might not necessarily be there because they're moving to a new space and people try and locate it. All that is on themselves, and also losing money that they've invested into those stalls for years. One of them spent 20 grand only 2 years ago on their stall, will not be getting that money back. And I just think the way that we're treating them, the way that we're not communicating with them, or clearly not. There's a lot of people here, clearly it is not getting through. We need to get back into the market. I'm quite happy to come along and speak to these people and try and iron out some of these issues.
Chair, can I just briefly just
Yeah.
yes, we would gladly meet any traders, any time of the day. We can meet them there or anywhere they wish to. But can I just stress this? It's not doom and gloom as you portray it. This is one of the leading projects and one of the milestone projects in Hindburn which is happening now. And I think not only the traders, future traders, or the traders who want to come back into trade will benefit, the whole town and whole Hindburn will benefit from this project. And I think if you look at what we'll achieve with the project, and if you visualize it, what's going to happen to town centre, and I think most town centres are struggling, and with this project we will make this town centre alive again. And I think that's why wholeheartedly we're working towards that goal. But traders' concerns are very close to my heart. Me and Stephen and Marlene, we all discuss it all if any issue comes up. So please, clearly openly say, traders got any issues, they can ring me, they can ring Marlene, they can ring Steve here. We will go there and see them immediately and discuss it with them. Any issues they have. And it doesn't matter how small it is, but our traders are, as I said, the main assets, and we will look after them, you know, if we have to bend backwards. But we have to move ahead with this project, otherwise the time scale, as the officer stressed it, we have to complete it by 2025. If we don't meet that delivery time, we can lose some of the money, so we don't want to do that. We want to deliver the project on time, and that's our aim.
With respect, it's because we don't know what the project is. I think that's probably, if we knew what the vision was and what the project was, we could probably sell it a bit better, but as councillors, we've not been involved in that project, you know, it might come to cabinet for decision making, but the actual project and the ideas, we're not involved, and that's cross-party. A lot of us are in the same boat, we don't know what project it is, you've already said that it's down to the operator to provide the vision. That's my problem, I can't support something until I've got it in front of me, whether it's sustainable or viable for the future.
But your leader, deputy leader, they're all in that cabinet. Sorry.
So we don't want to just bash them forth all night, and just like I said, we've got probably around 15 minutes and there's other people obviously asking for questions. I'll take Councillor Fisher first, because obviously she was after Councillor Whitehead.
Chair, I did ask first.
Councillor Fisher indicated after Councillor Whitehead, now come to Councillor Howard, and then Councillor Aziz.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to say that I do actually echo Councillor Whitehead's concerns. I mean, we've talked a lot about communication with traders. I was absolutely heartbroken to read some of those comments on social media over the past week or so. Clearly something's going wrong in that communication for whatever reason, and I'm not blaming one single person, is not getting to our traders. Why has a long-standing fruit and vegetable stall been all over social media? There's been hundreds and hundreds of comments, and quite frankly, it is embarrassing for this council to read some of those comments. And I just don't know what the answer is. Why is he saying, you've mentioned that some of the stall holders don't want to return. Why is a long-standing business, we're talking 50 plus years, saying they don't even know if they can return? Why is the message not getting through? Why is this project not connecting with local business, with residents, with people from all over Hyndburn? It's not to be negative, but that is the reality of it. And let us not underestimate the power of social media, because as I say, those comments were heartbreaking. And as a councillor, like what Councillor Whitehead said, how do we sell this to the public? We've all got massive concerns. Yes, we welcome the investment, of course we do. And in theory, it should attract more people to Accrington. But we must address those concerns, and we must, even if we are communicating, it's not fair to blame traders. Oh, we're here if they want to contact us. Clearly that message is not getting through. We need to work better. Thank you.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Councillor Howard.
Well, I think it's pointless really me saying anything, as I already said. I'm most very concerned about the market traders and the thoughts that the message isn't getting through. We have put as much as we possibly can in place to ensure that they get the information. But there's one point that Councillor Whitehead's brought up, the amount of people that are in this room. Yes, there's a lot. They're not all traders. They're not all traders.
Did they know about it, Marlene?
Excuse me, sorry.
Sorry.
It's the public aren't here to engage in the
I apologise.
So, you know, let's get a little bit real about this. You know as well as I know that the messages that come out on public media, they're just, well, they're not even, I don't even read half of them. They're not worth reading. Honest, they're not worth reading.
Real people.
Excuse me.
They might be real people. They might be real people that are very, very negative. And we're trying to make this.
Yes. Stop a minute.
500k invested in this town.
We all obviously have a voice here, obviously on this committee and everything. We're obviously all here to debate and everything, yeah. Obviously I know tensions can be high with certain things. Yeah. If obviously the public can not obviously shout out or engage or anything, obviously it makes it hard to read what's going on. Yeah, thank you. Continue.
They are, a lot of them are very negative, and I cannot believe, being so passionate as I am about the market hall, that it's even happening. I would do everything that was in my power, and I've done everything that's in my power to make sure that there have been things in place so that the traders have the capability to find out what is going on. And if they haven't used that facility to find out what's going on, my God, what else can we do? the officers have worked so hard to make the information available. It's cost us money to put people in there, in the market hall, to give them the information that they so desperately need. And we are working so hard to make sure that those things are carried out. I don't know what else we can do, other than us to go and sit in there and wait while the traders come to see us, and they probably won't anyway, but I'm quite prepared to do that. I'm quite prepared to go as the leader of the council and sit in the market hall, and I think it will be very interesting to just see how many traders do come and speak to me with their concerns. It's never happened before, but I'm willing to do it if you think that would work.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Councillor Aziz.
Thank you for that, Chair. You ask any business what's their biggest challenge, it's uncertainty. That's the biggest thing for business people when they don't know what's going to happen. So, just a point of clarity, we've got circa 30 traders in the market and the vast majority are now going to go into a temporary store outside while the redevelopment stage is happening. Have I got that right? But there's no concrete certainty. The ones that we let into the temporary store will be allowed back in because it's based on the operator's final decision. Is that correct? Have I interpreted that correct from your?
They will have a look at which traders they would like to see in there to meet the vision, and basically I can see huge numbers of those traders going back in because that's what the operator wants.
But you can't categorically say one way or the other.
There are some there that I think have taken their own decision not to come back in.
No. Based on what you said there, Steve, they are in the market hall as of today. They are moving to the temporary base for over the next 18 months, let's just say. But there is no certainty after that. But it's still up in the air whether they will be allowed in. Whether you could say, oh, I believe so, but as of the rule...
I do believe.
No, but based on certainty, you can't say, I'm astounded if that's the case. Because if they're not going to be, if they've not got certainty to be allowed back in, why are we then encouraging them for 18 months to go temporary? Because that's for me, either we commit to them and give them the wholehearted support that you have a role in the future of this market, or we say to them, unfortunately, your offering is not what we want to do, and we could, because I think we need to have open and honest in this conversation, and it's not happening. This is why I'm saying, and that is an astonishing. We talk about vision, we don't have one clearly, because it's basically we've subletting it. Hopefully, they'll come up with a solution. It's poor. It's for me astonishing, and clearly, if the Conservative got off, step aside, you'll get a vision, and that for me is. That I'm absolutely disappointed. Secondly, we're talking about traders that have been doing it for 50 years, then saying, oh, you've got to come back with a business plan. These are traders that know what they're doing, setting fruit and veg. Business plans aren't their forte, but you tell them to sell, by God they can sell. Why aren't we, if we're saying there's the rules of engagement, putting a plan in place to offer business plan support and say we'll work with you along the way? That should be the first thing, recommendation.
Just coming on that was already mentioned, and that is what's going to be happening.
But that wasn't in the presentation.
That's what I heard in the presentation.
No, they said business plan, there wasn't anything around it.
Just for clarification on that. Will the council be providing any support to these businesses for our business plans?
Okay.
And what support will that be?
Once I know the requirements from the operator, we will assist the trader wherever possible to do that. But we cannot write it because we don't know their costs, we don't know how they operate, but we can work with them to present that. And you know, it may be as simple as two sides, one side of A4. It's just setting out that you know your costs, that you know your expenditure, how you're going to promote yourself, do you know there is a requirement for what you're selling. So it's just, I view it simply as like if you were going to get a loan from the bank, you just ask you some basic questions to see whether you can afford it. And this is about whether your business is actually a good trading business. And very simple questions, but we will support. Because I don't know what it is, I can't say that we will do X, Y, and Z, but we will support them.
Yeah, would you like to continue?
That's as clear as mud for me, in terms of, simply put, we should be saying, right, we're going to have them, we put a facility to write business plan, this is the format. Before you even say to them, it's a basic tool. Business plans are not difficult, but the way it's just been described, it's like a PhD level thesis. For me, again, this is not good enough for the traders. This is not good enough for Accrington. And this is no disrespect to the officers. All I hear is, we've got this money, let's just run and spend it as quickly as possible. It's almost like monopoly money, just chuck it, okay, right, you want a contract, there is a coherent plan. This is residents' investment for their future. And from what I've seen today, we don't have a clue. We're going to fritter it away. That's what I'm seeing. That's simply not good enough. And for me, and I come back to it, we should have had a plan, stuck to the plan, brought the traders along with us, which clearly we're not doing, because all we're doing is giving it to a third party. Then we say, it wasn't our fault, it was such and such, and almost washing our hands off it. That's not good enough. We're elected members to make decisions, so let's go on with making them. And the first thing we can do is, rather than go sitting in the marketplace and say, come to us, go to them, say, what is your concern? We're here to listen. And you know, nothing should be off the table. That's how it should be. And from us to have this almost, come to us, we're going to know, go to them, see what their concerns are. And it shouldn't be the officers going there, it should be us as elected members, because that's where we put there, to say, actually, how can we do it better? And that's not what I'm hearing. I would have expected that from the portfolio holder, from the leader. That's not what I've heard. And again, a recommendation is, as a team, they go out there, speak to everyone, and residents are up in arms, rightly so. And I'm going to use, so if we keep letting this Accrington bashing, Hyndburn bashing, we're going to do what happened in Bradford. Bradford has the worst reputation in the UK, but it's taken them 10 years to get out of that, because everyone talks it down. We need to get a stage where we talk ourselves up, and the only way you talk yourselves up is by actually listening to people and presenting a coherent vision. That's not what we've got tonight, and I'm sorry, it's got to go back to the drawing board.
I'll just come to Shahid in a minute, then to Councillor Units. Upon that recommendation, I think it might be prudent that a meeting is organised, not a meeting, a walk around is organised with all traders in the market hall and even surrounding building businesses which are affected with the market hall. But I do think if we want them, we're all councillors. Because I think it'd be better, obviously, instead of it being obviously a select handful of people, the cabinet or whoever, obviously hearing it, and then potentially again, it's expanding on Facebook or the socials again. I think if all councillors are there, maybe over a few sessions, we can all hear what's going on. We can all hear the stories, obviously. We can see for ourselves first hand what's going on, rather than obviously through different sources. Yeah. So I'm happy to propose that we recommend that to the cabinet. That all. I'll let you propose it. Yeah.
You're here.
So I'll back obviously Councillor White. So would you like to propose that?
I'd like to propose that.
Yeah. So Councillor White proposed obviously we've organised all councillor meeting with the traders, and I'd like to amend to that existing businesses around the square as well. where we can all go out and speak with them over a few sessions, where obviously we all have some lives outside, obviously, in different commitments. And I'd like to obviously second that. We have a show of hands all in favour of that. Yeah. Obviously there's no against or anything. So obviously we'll put that forward to the Cabinet and ask them obviously to get that moving forward and get that organised for us all to go do a walk around and visit. Yeah.
Sorry, Chair, just on the second recommendation about looking at whether or not we can reopen Peel Street toilets whilst the market also.
I do apologise, it is something you came to.
Yeah.
Do we have a response from the Peel Street question, Owen?
Is that viable or?
We're looking at it now. We're just assessing what condition they're in and what needs to bring them up to a decent standard.
Did you the second as well?
Well, they're
All right, okay. Well, but I think we should formalise it as a recommendation.
Yeah, so obviously if Councillor Whitehead obviously wants to propose, they'll continue looking into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Z support it, do you second it? All in favour of that? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to mention. Let's have a consultation with the traders and the councillors for the town centre. And if that's what I'd like to include it. I won't ask any more questions here. I just want to wait for that occasion.
Yeah. Good. Councillor Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just be very brief. I'm glad the toilet issue has been moved forward. I think it's very important. A few people have mentioned to me before, when they're in the middle of town. Anyway, what I would say is, as a human being, as a person, nobody likes change. And this is a very big step forward. Obviously, we will have some different opinions, but we are here to help and to assist, whether it's a business plan or the existing traders will be offered back in. We as a council will do everything possible to help them to draw the business plan, if that is what the operator required, or if they wish to come back, we'll do our best and we'll encourage them to come back, and we will be discussing with the operator all those points that you raised here. I mean, if the council is spending, over £10 million in that market hall, we don't want to see it empty. We want to make a success of it. So that success will be our town's success. So therefore, we will not hesitate to help anybody who is going to make that success. So with officers, with the councillors, with the public, with the traders, we will cooperate, and we're willing to help them, willing to go far as possibly we can. So I'm sure you, Councillor Aziz, and the rest of the council understand your concerns. We all have concerns. Maybe you'll have feedback from a different side, but we will definitely do our best to solve the problem. That's what we're here for. That's what we're elected for, to serve public, to serve people, to serve residents. If they have concerns, we'll deal with them wholeheartedly. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Well, that brings, of course, the end of the meeting at 7 o'clock.